If you ever feel a little tight on money at any point throughout the year, then you're most likely living paycheck to paycheck. But what you might not realize is that you're not alone. In fact, almost 60% of Americans are living that exact same way. So I would actually consider this normal. I even used to be one of these people, so I know exactly how it feels, and it is not fun. You're stressed out, always on edge, and you probably feel like life just made you eat a whole bunch of food, threw you on a roller coaster, and now it's taking you for a ride that it won't let you off of. But here on this channel, we don't like normal, and we definitely don't like average. So I want to help you move from that 60% of people into that 40% group by showing you how to stop living paycheck to paycheck. I'm about to take you on a ride. So if you're willing to do everything that I suggest in this video, then your life will 100% change within the next 12 months. I know, it's a bold statement, but it's true. Hey, I'm Jarrad with an A, and on this channel, we talk about all things personal finance, investing, and we try to have a little bit of fun in the process. If I double your income today, then would that solve all of your money problems? The simple answer is no. Between two different surveys that I read, 20% of people making more than $125,000 per year are living paycheck to paycheck. Now think about that. A household pulling in roughly $7,300 per month after taxes is living paycheck to paycheck. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit and swallowed it. I've personally met many people who are making $100, $200, and even $300,000 plus per year that are less financially secure than someone making $60,000 per year who is doing the right things with their money. Income has nothing to do with how financially secure you are. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep and what you do to grow that money in your pocket. Living paycheck to paycheck is usually not an income issue. Now, I don't want to completely downplay income though, because it is an important part of the equation, but it's not the ultimate solution to your problems. I want to see you, of course, go out there and make so much darn money that you don't know what to do with it. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, then the first thing I'm going to suggest is that you do not do a budget. Look, I could sit up here and preach to you all day about how beneficial a budget is to you and your life. How doing one every month helped me pay off $82,000 in debt in 4 years. How one has helped me save and invest over $40,000 per year. Helped me reach a 70+% savings rate. How a budget will protect me if I get laid off from work. And how a budget was the reason that I bought a car with cash last year. But who am I kidding? That's still not gonna make you wanna do a budget. So I'm gonna tell you not to do a budget. Yes, you heard me right. I, Jarrad Morrow, the man who swears by budgeting, the man who has lived on a budget for over 10 years, is telling you to avoid doing a budget if you're currently living paycheck to paycheck, for now.
Oh my gosh, Jarrad, I knew you'd say that. Dislike, unsubscribe, leave a crappy comment, leave the video.
That's fine. See ya. The reason is that if you've never attempted doing a budget or you've never been able to stick to a budget, then I'd be setting you up for failure by recommending you do one right off the rip. It would be like me asking you to squat 250 pounds when the only squatting you've ever done is onto a freaking toilet. You need to learn the basic mechanics. You need to prepare your body to be able to handle having that much weight sitting on your upper back, and you need to slowly work up to that amount of weight. Hashtag fitness. A few years ago, I created something called the hierarchy of expenses to help you think through how to rate your expenses from most important to least important. It's kind of inspired by Maslow's hierarchy of needs, so if you're familiar with that, then you'll understand the meaning behind it. I just decided to flip it upside down and base it off of someone's expenses. Once you have the money covered for your expenses in tier 1, then you move on to tier 2 to spend the leftover money. Once you have tier 2 expenses fulfilled and you have money left over, then you move on to tier 3 and so on. Kind of like with the order that I suggest investing your money, link to that video will be in the description of this one. There is an order that you should be spending your money every month. Under 99% of circumstances, you do not skip tiers. All I'd ask that you do at this point is to write down your monthly income, then subtract your monthly expenses from tier 1 to get an idea of how much money you truly have left over every single month after those really basic, most important expenses are taken care of. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported for 2018 that between housing, transportation, and food, the average person spent 62% of their income. Now, do some quick math to figure out how much you're spending versus what they reported the average was. Keep in mind that around here, we absolutely hate average, so hopefully you're under that because 62% should be absolutely unacceptable to you, especially if you haven't accounted for the minimum payment on any bad debt that you have. Let's just assume that your tier 1 and tier 2 expenses account for 62%. Now that would leave you with 38% of your income left over, which is a lot. For example, if you take home $40,000 per year, then that means that there's at least $15,000 per year that could get you out of the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. This is an easy exercise to go through without doing a full-blown budget to get an idea of what you're paying for your most important expenses. It's possible that those are even too high, so you'll need to go through these on your own to evaluate them individually. The goal needs to be to never spend 100% of your money on expenses. A little bit should always go towards some sort of savings every month, even if you are investing. I know this part is a little bit of work, but if getting yourself to the point where you're not living paycheck to paycheck is that important to you, then this has to be done. Next, I don't want you to rely on a paycheck getting deposited into your bank account. I know what you're thinking.
Jarrad, you're an idiot. I need money deposited into my bank account so I can pay for everything. So stupid.
Slow down and let me explain. When you're in the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, it's easy to fall into the mindset where this is just the way things are and this is the way that things will always be. I hear it all the time from people who are in this position. I can't pay for this, I can't pay for that, or if I lose my job, I am absolutely screwed. You need to get out of the mindset that this is just how things are going to be and that there's nothing that you can do about it because that's just not true. Stop saying it and stop thinking it. Not to sound like a jerk, but I'm to the point now where I'll sometimes forget when I even get paid because it's the last thing on my mind. Now, keep in mind that I did not get to this point by accident though. I've been taking action for years and years, putting in the work so that I could get to this point, and I want to help you get there as well. There are two main reasons that I've gotten to the point where I don't rely on getting a paycheck deposited into my account every 2 weeks. The first is because I've spent years building up and maintaining at least a 6-month emergency fund. If something happens and I miss a few paychecks, then I can just pull that money from my emergency fund. You'll need to have a longer term outlook on your money. It might not feel like there's much of a payoff today, but what kind of impact will it have on your finances 6, 12, or even 24 months down the line? The amount of money that you have in the future is a lagging indicator of the choices that you make today. Just like the reason that you might be living paycheck to paycheck today is because of the decisions that you've made with your money over the past 6, 12, and even 24 months. Let that really sink in because it's very important for you to understand that. How much money you have in the future is a lagging indicator of what you're doing right now. Make poor decisions right now, you won't have much money in the future. Make smart decisions, you'll have a ton of money in the future, buttloads of money if we want to get specific. The second reason that I don't rely on a paycheck being deposited into my bank account from my main employer is that I've built multiple streams of income over the years. I've always had at least 2 jobs since I was 20 years old, and at the peak I had 3 jobs at one time. Now this wasn't because I had to, but because I kind of wanted to create a little I'll call it income insurance policy for myself. I found that putting in the extra work when you don't have to will put you in a better position to capitalize during those hard times when most people are forced to put in the work because they have to. I'll have a playlist in the description of the videos that I've made on how to make some extra money on the side. It's time to create your own windfall of money for the sake of getting out of this cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. If you're not familiar, a windfall is just a chunk of money that you suddenly or unexpectedly receive all at once. We've all heard of those trust fund babies who received a huge windfall from a parent or a relative, right? But if you were like like me, then you don't ever expect to receive any sort of windfall from anyone. And if you do, then just pretend that you aren't ever going to get anything, because assuming that is going to automatically change your behavior in a negative way. It'll make you let up on the gas a little bit and possibly make you lazy. And around here, we don't like lazy. So people like us, we need to create a windfall for ourselves. The reason it's going to be helpful is because it'll give you a little wiggle room to get you by when you're spending money in between paychecks. If you receive your first paycheck on the first day of the month or super early in the month, then that money is going to have to last you for 2 weeks until you receive your second paycheck. But if it so happens that 70% of your expenses are going to need to be paid before you receive your second check every month, then there's just not going to be enough money around. This is where having a nice little chunk of money sitting around is going to be helpful. I like to call it floater money. You're spending it when you need it, which is within the first 2 weeks of the month, for example, but you're going to turn around and replace it once you receive that second paycheck. I've come up with 2 main ways, technically 3, for you to create a windfall of money for yourself. The first way is pretty simple. Sell some things that you have lying around the house that are just taking up space and not being used at all. We all have random objects in basements, closets, and attics that are worth money, but it's easier to forget about them altogether. Get those things on eBay, Craigslist, or have a garage sale, then set that money aside to be used for your floater money. Who cares how much someone is willing to pay you for any of it at this point? It's worth $0 by just sitting around collecting dust. Sell it, make money, and move on with your life. The second way to create a windfall for yourself is to use the extra money that you already have coming in every year. Now, these ways are super easy to overlook, but can be extremely powerful if you just interact with them in a whole different way. If you get paid every 2 weeks, then that means that you receive 26 paychecks within a 12-month period. Now, ideally, you'd want to plan to live off of 2 of those paychecks every month, so that should leave you with 2 extra paychecks that you did not account for. I have these 2 times per year marked on my calendar because it feels like free money, even though it's technically not. If you can get yourself into the routine of only living on 24 paychecks and stashing away or investing the other 2, then you'll be out of living paycheck to paycheck within a year. The other thing you can do is use a yearly bonus to create a floating money fund for yourself. If you don't receive a yearly bonus, but you receive a yearly raise, then that is just as good. I've mentioned in the past how I take advantage of a yearly raise in a way that's really helped me increase my overall net worth and my overall savings rate. Since I receive a raise every year, I never increase my spending by that amount. So if I get a 5% raise this year, then instead of increasing the amount that I spend by 5%, I immediately increase the amount that I invest by 5%. Because I do this right away when it shows up in my paycheck, I actually never feel like I received a raise, which prevents me from subconsciously increasing my lifestyle by 5%. I always say that I didn't receive those raises every year. My overall net worth receives those raises since I immediately put it towards investments. You can do the same thing, but instead of investing it, you can throw it into a savings account if you're currently at the stage of trying to build up a floating money fund. The next one might be a little off-putting to some, but it is probably the most important way to stop living paycheck to paycheck. So give me a break and just hear me out for a second, because it is so important. You have to take ownership of your situation. I would go as far as saying that you need to take extreme ownership of your situation. Being able to point to an external reason as to why we have barely enough money to get by is super easy to do. For example, mom and dad didn't teach me about money like they should have. My employer doesn't pay me what I deserve. These emergencies, they keep popping up left and right. My significant other keeps spending too much money and I can't get him to stop. And of course, the cost of living where I live is insanely high. We could create an endless list of reasons why you're in this current financial situation. But the common denominator in every single instance is you. I was the common denominator when I had racked up $82,000 in debt and felt an instant rush of anxiety once I realized what I had done. You need to truly accept and believe that everything that has happened is your fault. You either directly or indirectly played a role in it. Take an extreme ownership mentality. No matter how you slice it, you can tie everything back to a choice that you did or didn't make in the past. There's a great book by Jocko Willink that I've read at least 3 times and I've probably listened to the audiobook way more than that, called Extreme Ownership that I highly recommend you check out. It's good in general to take responsibility for our own actions, whether they're good or bad. I know it stinks to admit it and really believe it, but it's something that I think we all have to do, and I think if we can all take personal responsibility, then the world in general is going to be a better place. Please Hulk smash that thumbs up button before you go. Make sure to check out these videos to your left that I picked just for your beautiful face. I'll also have different resources and playlists in the description of this video to help you out with all of your personal finance and investing needs. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Adios.